Hey, Money Multipliers. Welcome back to another episode of the Money Multiplier podcast, where we ask ourselves, do our dollars make sense? I'm your host, Hannah Kessler, and today I have a fun and exciting episode here. I'm interviewing a good friend. Actually, he's a new friend now, but I'm very excited to keep furthering this working relationship with him. He's a very smart individual. He's a little soft-spoken, I will say, but he's got a lot of knowledge packed in that noggin of his. So I met him recently out in Las Vegas, and just a little bit about Alex before we get into the interview here today. He is a co-founder of Building Income on Demand and a marketing agency called Thor Marketing. He's a digital marketer that had a great experience working in different industries such as spas, gyms, coaches, consultants, real estate, restaurants. He's a big sports fan. He's been practicing Taekwondo for the last 14 years, and he actually was a coach to other folks doing Taekwondo practice. And his goal is to help local businesses create marketing systems with automations to help them create content and to make their lives easier and more fulfilling than what they're doing right now. So really getting their best bang out of their buck, to sum it up. So anyways, as I dive into this episode, he talks some practical strategies that we can start implementing today to help us find those qualified leads, bring some more people through the doors to help us keep growing and keep educating the public in what we are passionate about. Maybe it's our flower business. Maybe it's our real estate. Maybe it's the car business that you have, the car detailing business. All right. So I'm very excited about this interview, and we'll kind of get into it. But before we get into it, I have a few quick announcements. All right, so just a quick recap of the upcoming live events. California, baby, I'm coming out to you. Anaheim, February 24th and the 25th. Provo, Utah, March 2nd to the 4th. Langhorne, Pennsylvania, March 11th. We got Tampa, Florida, March 16th. Dallas, Texas, March 31st. So we'll be bopping around the U.S. Here coming up. So I hope to see you out at those live events. And as always, go to our website, themoneymultiplier.com/events, and with an S on the end. And you can go in and find all of the upcoming events for the year. All right, let's get into it. Hey, Money Multipliers. I am here with a great episode today. Here joined with me, I have Alex. And Alex and I, we actually met about a few months ago. We were out in Las Vegas together. There was an event going on, and actually it was a really cool event. Sharon Lecter was even up on the stage teaching and educating. So Alex, I like Alex because Alex is kind of like me. He's young in this space, and I think we bring a new flavor to what's going on. The new generation that's kind of up and coming. So, Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I know today, so you're in Montreal because you're from Canada originally.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Okay.
So, well, I was born in Eastern Europe and then, yes, moved to Canada. So, yeah, mostly Canadian in a way.
And you're a newlywed too.
Yeah, it's been 4 months now, almost 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know because so then when you are here in the States, you reside in Arizona.
Yeah.
So is the spouse in Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where she lives.
Okay. Well, deal. All right. And actually, before we get into it, one thing that I find very fascinating, because I do think hobbies outside of business is very important. And one thing that I thought was cool is you used to, or you might still have, a Taekwondo studio. And so were you a teacher?
So I've been practicing Taekwondo for the last 14 years.
Okay.
And then when we moved to Canada, finished my, because I would have like red belt, and then I wanted to get black belt, but I always train as a red belt because my dad was telling me you need a belt to hold your pants. Like that doesn't really show anything. If you can't do the techniques, doesn't really matter if you have black belt. It's like he is from the mindset, show me, don't tell me, kind of. So I got that black belt. I was training quite a lot, and then at some point we opened a taekwondo school that was linked to university. So it wasn't I didn't own the school per se, but I was a coach there, an instructor.
Got it.
So it was a great experience. Yeah, did it for about 2 years, and then COVID came, and the university shut down all the programs. So yeah, we also couldn't do anything.
Okay. So then, because of COVID times now, are you thinking about going back?
Back to teaching? No, I wouldn't say so. Practicing, yeah. I do practice and train. Yeah, I like it. It's part of my life, I guess, at this point. It is lifestyle. Yeah, going to the gym, taekwondo, playing soccer, like doing sports is. I've been practicing sports my entire life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I do. Yeah, I have a younger brother. He's actually in business with me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you, is he one of the co-founders or?
No. So I do have two. So I have a marketing agency where we work with small and medium-sized businesses, help them with lead generation and then the content marketing side of things as well. And that's where he helps me with. And I do have another side where it's an educational company. It's called Building Income on Demand, where we pretty much help all the service-based business owners put together all the systems. Because when people start their businesses, they don't really have systems. I mean, they do a little bit of marketing here and there. Then they get clients, they focus on clients, and they forget about marketing. So they don't have an ongoing process pretty much. So that's where we help with.
Got it.
Yeah.
And actually, before we get into it too, how did you get into this space? I mean, did you go to school for it? Did you meet somebody who introduced you into this world of digital marketing and lead generation?
So yes, I was going to school. I was going to college. I had this a business administration program. Major was in marketing, and at the same time, I was part of this network marketing company, and I wanted to do presentations and recruit people into my team. I'm sure you know how the network marketing companies work and the industry. And I was kind of fed up. I wanted to find another way. So I started Googling. I found out about this funnel. So I'm like, what's the funnel? Starting digging deeper. Then I would start buying courses online on how to run ads, email marketing, social media, funnels, websites, all the good stuff, everything that's related to digital marketing.
Yeah.
And during the same time, it was our third semester in college. We had marketing 101. And then we had this case study where we were supposed to promote a company. And I was like, sweet. So I didn't implement anything what we were learning in school, but I implemented everything because we were supposed to target millennials. It was like, sweet. So we're going to run all these ads on social media. And because I knew that, let's say, to put out a billboard in a good location, it would cost like $10,000 for people just to see it, and you can't even track it. Because I would also like study from people that are running multi-million dollar marketing campaigns. So it's like, well, that's a no-brainer to do it online. So I did that. I got 60 or 65%. I passed. I was like, what's wrong with it? It's perfect based on what these guys say. And they do it on a daily basis. So I come up to the teacher. I'm like, what's wrong with my plan? She's like, well, you didn't mention any traditional media. I'm like, yeah, but you can't track anything. It's just for the brand side of things in a way. It's like, yeah, but it's also important. I'm like, no. So I closed that semester and I left. I dropped out. Yeah. And then we started. So I dove deeper into that. We started the first agency. And then I started my second one.
Got it. That's
Yeah.
very important of what you said, the tracking, because people can come through, they can see your name, they can see who you are, but if you don't keep dripping on them in a sense, and that's where it comes with the automation of everything. Yeah. I was thinking about that in the car this morning, driving over here about automation and how it's important now in today's day and age. So I think that's very powerful. And actually, here's another question I was thinking about this morning as well. Because I know we are in the new era, and I guess it's not so new, but the era of digital, online, the metaverse now. Do you think that we're full force going to keep heading down this path of the digital era? Or is it kind of like, in my opinion, so I love fashion, all right? And I'm thinking about like leg warmers and arm warmers and how scrunchies are all coming back into style now. So my question is like, are we going back more towards the traditional ways of marketing, maybe the face-to-face, the kind of touchy-feelsy side of marketing instead of just everything digital? Or is it a combination of both and we should be splitting it up between both? So what direction do you see us kind of going in, and where is it important to kind of put our eggs in what basket?
So let's say if you're starting out, the best place to be is online, because the cost for, let's say, a client acquisition is way cheaper than if you do it with traditional media, because again, you can track things. And then you can target people in the narrow audience, especially if you start a local business, something like that. And then you want to get known in that specific circle. So it's way better to do it in a digital way. With the fashion and everything else, as I mentioned, I think it's going to be a 50-50 split. Yeah. And because we're creatures of habits, and we still want to have that relationship with each other. Yeah. So both traditional media and digital will work, because people want to come in person. I mean, some people are fine ordering online. I did order pants last year, just one time online, because I knew my size. But otherwise, I wouldn't order anything online for clothing wise, or shoes. Yeah, because again, I know the size for Adidas. I know the exact size. For all the other brands, they're all different. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it is a 50-50 split. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I want to tell you, I'm about to freak you out real quick. I just ordered a new mattress. I bought it online. Yep. Oh yeah. Bought that mattress online. Didn't sleep on it or feel anything. I was just like, all right, well, I think I know how this mattress feels because my best girlfriend has the same one. So I think I like it. So I guess I did kind of do my research on it, but isn't that a little freaky? Yeah. Today's day and age, you can buy your own mattress online. They ship it to your door. Yeah. Well, that's the world we live in. I mean, even cars. Like if you look at Tesla, I think it's the first company that gave us an option to buy a car online. You pretty much choose whatever you want. You make an order. You do the down payment, and you go and pick up your car. Yeah. So yeah, it's a mix of both, and with the AI coming and becoming stronger and stronger. I don't know if you've heard of the ChatGPT from OpenAI. Mm-mm. You can look into that. It can actually help you write or create content. So it's a system. It's an AI software that pretty much communicates with you like a person. So let's say you can ask a question and it gives you an answer, and then you can ask a question regarding that answer. So in the beginning, when it came out, people were thinking that it's like Google in a way, but it's better than Google. Because with Google, when you're searching for something, you still need to go through all these different websites and find that information that you're looking for. In case with this AI, I saw this video on YouTube where a guy was trying to, he was writing a code for the website, and he was always getting a mistake. He couldn't figure out what's the mistake. So he took the code, he dropped it in the AI in the chat and said, can you fix this code? So the AI fixed it and explained where was the mistake. He took the code, implemented on the website, and it works. Wow. When I saw that, I was like, whoa. It's a game changer now. It is, yeah. And also like for content. I mean, content marketing is a big thing now because people trust content more. Let's say businesses that produce content because they provide value more than if they just see ads. And in case with this ChatGPT, you can, let's say, ask for a list of ideas to create content on, or even like write articles. I played around with it. I said, write me an article. I don't remember what I asked about exactly, but I said, write a 2,000 word article. It gave me an article. Then I saw another post on Facebook. Somebody posted that they asked to write a 60,000 word book, and it did. And it writes in a matter of minutes. So it compresses. Yeah, so it takes pretty much all the knowledge and compresses into one frame or whatever you're asking the chat to do.
It makes us more efficient.
It does, yeah. Because a lot of people started freaking out. They're like, "Oh, the AI they're gonna take over our jobs." I'm like, no, it's not as good. Like even for copywriting, let's say, like I was talking to a client, and then we were talking about articles, and I told her about this ChatGPT, and she's like, "Well, somebody does articles for me." I'm like, "Well, that's good." What it really gives you an option. I'm not saying that copywriters will lose their jobs. I mean, some might, because it's really good. Like you should play around with it. But what it really gives you a lot of ideas. So just like with an article, as I mentioned now, with 2,000 words, you can take that content and then paraphrase it the way you want it, and then add your own examples. And then you don't need to sit there and write an article for an hour, maybe even longer. Takes you 5 minutes to do that. Make changes, maybe 15 minutes in total, 30 max.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. So then it helps us. Now talk to me about this, because we're going out there and we're creating this content to either keep educating our current client database to hopefully produce us more business, or we're going out there and we're finding those qualified leads. And in my opinion, there's a difference between leads and qualified leads.
100%.
Right? So how do you talk to me a little bit about how you narrow down that qualified lead? Because I mean, out there right now, I mean, let's just talk about it, right? I mean, over here at the Money Multiplier, we have our Facebook group, we got the Instagram, we got TikTok, we got YouTube, we got all those things, and you have all those eyes looking at it. Right. And so you get these leads that come in, and I'll be the first to admit, some folks that call me on the line, I have said, hey, it's not a good time for you to start a policy right now because you don't have any income coming in. What do you got to change some of your habits and some of your ways. So how do you create those qualified leads versus leads before they hop on the phone with you?
Yeah, that's a great question, because these days lead generation is not a problem. What's really hard to get is those qualified leads. So what we would do, especially as I mentioned previously with the educational company, because that's what we're doing for the last 5 years with businesses. Let's say if we run a lead gen campaign, we would send them through a short form, either directly on Facebook, where we would collect in the beginning just name, email, and phone number, the minimum, because people don't want to give a lot of information because the conversions will go down. And then as a second step, we ask them to fill out an application form. And that's where we ask them, usually it's about 10 questions, 7 to 10 questions. It really depends on the business. Let's say in real estate, it could be 7 questions, and without gym clients, it's 10 questions. So it really depends on the business. Whatever is important for you to get from that lead.
Yeah.
And those people that fill out that application form, those are the really serious leads.
Yes.
So that's how you pretty much
Those will put the action behind it.
Yeah. Because
then you know more about them too before they hop on the call, and
it definitely helps. Yeah. And it's not a sales pitch anymore, because you're there because they tell you already their problem. You know where they're in life, let's say, as you just mentioned, like, you know, if they're working, maybe what's their salary. There could be a range, of course. Yeah.
Now here's something else I was thinking about this morning as well. You know what, when you go in and folks are coming to you asking for your assistance and support because you are the specialist in that area, when they're coming to you, what is one of the most common mistakes that you see that business owners or maybe individuals are doing in their business that is hindering them from that growth or from getting new business through the doors?
I'll say they're not marketing enough. That's the biggest one. Yeah, they're not marketing enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, because I mean they start and then they stop and then they start again, or they try, didn't work, and then they stop.
Yeah.
And in case with marketing, you really need to test things.
Yeah.
So whether it's just content, I don't know if you've seen. Do you know Mr. Beast?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you've seen a video where he was mentioning that they're spending, I think, $1,000 or maybe $10,000 on a YouTube thumbnail to design a YouTube thumbnail.
Hmm.
I think it was 10,000 because the number was just outrageous. Even $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And for
they-
all my folks listening as well, the YouTube thumbnail, that's the thing, that's just the one picture that you see on YouTube before it gets into the video.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Thanks for explaining.
Yeah.
Because they also mentioned that before their channel got big, they were testing. I think they were making changes every minute or every 2 minutes. So they would switch the thumbnail and see if there was any change. And then they would switch it again. Then they would switch it again in one day.
Hmm.
So it's really all about marketing. But of course, it's important to build systems on the back end so you don't do the day-to-day mundane work, because again, you can automate things. Let's say like sending out emails, text messages, all the confirmations. Let's say if somebody books a call, send them, set up automations with reminders. People forget about calls. Like even when they get reminders, sometimes we just need to call them. It's like, hey, we have a call in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, oh, well, go ahead. You want to add one more detail?
No. That was it.
So talk to me then about this. So you and your company, so what do you do and what do you specialize in that's different than what other folks are doing out there, and kind of what makes y'all unique to the playing field?
So what we've done, as I mentioned, for the last 6 years, we've been working with businesses, helping them with marketing automations. And we realized that every single time when we get, let's say, when a client gets just crazy results, they are following all the steps that we tell them to follow. Because sometimes you work with people and they're like, no, I want to do it this way. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't really work this way.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, we're doing it on a daily basis.
I'm the expert here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, and then they're like, well, I want to do it this way. This is my brand. We're like, okay, yeah, it is your brand and you're the client. You're right, I guess. Let's try it. We tried and then it doesn't work. So we backtracked everything and we looked at what we're usually doing at every step of the way. So they get all those crazy results. And we figure out that we usually go through the 9 steps for them to get to that level, pretty much. And that's the main, this 9-step system became the main program in a way for us. Mm-hmm. So we do a 6-week marketing bootcamp where we pretty much guide people through the entire process. We help them build, of course, in the beginning. So we broke it down into 3 phases. We go over fundamentals, because if you don't do that part, nothing else matters. All the ads and offers and all the fancy things that people like to talk about, that doesn't matter. So when I say fundamentals, it's the mindset, it's knowing who is your ideal client, mm-hmm. and understanding your numbers. Mm-hmm. So you go through that, you know where you want to go pretty much. And when I say mindset, I'm mostly talking about testing. Because again, people like to say, well, it doesn't work. I'm not going to do it. That's it. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we can, let's say, start creating an offer. And then when the offer is ready, based on the offer, you can create that landing page, or because usually you would create a landing page only for the offer. Because it's great to have a website, but then it's important to have just a landing page to send people to. Because the website acts these days as kind of your headquarters. And then the landing page is only for the offer. where people have two options. Either when they come, it's either they leave or they fill out the form.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's pretty much the process. And then after that, it's all the good stuff: writing ad copy, creating images and videos, running ads, then getting those leads, closing them, and then the last step is getting referrals out of these leads.
Yep. So so starting today, is there one thing that folks could start implementing today that would help them reach goals, to create more leads that come through the door, to create more monthly cash flow for them?
Yeah, 100%.
What they could do?
Yeah, I would say if you have an email database, that's what a lot of businesses do have, and they're not using it. I don't know if you've heard of the saying, the money is in the list.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's really at. I mean, it's your database. You control it. It's not like you need to pay Zuckerberg or, I don't know, Google to get more leads. It's already your database. So you should definitely do, maybe, let's say, most of the times the database is there. People are not using it. Business owners are not using it. Just do a reactivation campaign. And then send an email, super simple email saying, hey, we're giving away, I don't know, 10 spots for this specific thing, for this offer, only for the next 10 people. And then you'll just start getting lots of requests. If you do have, let's say, phone number database, you could use, there's a software that we use, Tax Magic.
Okay.
And then do the same thing. Do the reactivation campaign. Because when people text back, you can also text them back through the software. So they'll know that it's a real person who's talking to them. Okay. So I would say that's the biggest thing, because at this point, you don't even need to spend money on advertising or marketing, or I should say invest, but sometimes it's just spending, because people just, well, let's try this.
Yes. Yeah. No, I know a few folks that do that. Well, good, man. Well, tell me, how can people find you? How can people find you or get in contact with you?
Sure. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram if social media works for you better. It's Alex Thoric. It's THORIC. Or go to buildingincomeondemand.com and you can find all the information there.
Awesome. And hey, I got to tell you, we'll be coming out to Arizona. Actually, Mr. Chris Noggle, Devin Burr will be in the Phoenix area coming up here in March. So maybe I'll tag along and maybe we'll see each other again soon.
Nice.
I'll get to meet the wife. So that
would be great. I'll actually be there in March.
Good. All right. I'll text you.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks, Alex. Thanks for hopping on, and we'll catch you next time. I'll have you back on soon. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
All right, Money Multipliers. I hope you got some value out of the information that Alex spoke with us about today. By all means, I am no expert in this realm. That is why I go out and outsource other mentors and specialists in those areas, and I bring them on board. I help me really build and create my business, because there's no I in team, right? And we need help in all different avenues. So as always, you can go and reach out to Alex. Ask him questions. He's very personable, very good individual. The link to his website will be down below, along with his email. So reach out to him if you got some questions. And let's get into it. We got our listener write-in questions. All right. Hey, Hannah, I'm curious. Can I do a dump in at any time in my policy? So it's kind of a yes or no response to you. Yes, you can do a dump in at any time throughout your policy's life. However, it's subject to where that MEC limit is at in your policy. MEC stands for Modified Endowment Contract. I have another episode coming up here shortly. I'll be diving deeper into MEC. I also have a past episode on the MEC rules. But MEC, right, that is that imaginary line throughout your policy that makes your policy contract taxable or tax-free. Now, I'm not saying that you can't mech your policy. Absolutely. The insurance company will take your dollars all day long, but it's not in our best benefit, because if we go over that imaginary line and we turn it into that mech status, now all of the growth in the policy is tax-free, or excuse me, let me back it up. Habit. All of the growth now in the policy is taxable. All right, when you mech your contract, all of the growth is taxable, and even death benefit can become taxable. So keep the tax-free benefits inside of your policy. So yes, for my folks who have not started their first policy yet, or is talking about maybe starting an additional policies, there are ways to manipulate that mech limit. So you can do dump-ins into your policy, but I am answering this question as if this person is writing to me, they already have an in-force policy and they want to know if they can dump into their policy. So just real quick, practically what's going to happen, you call your mapping specialist over here at the Money Multiplier and ask them that question. That's why they're here. They're here to help you implement this concept. So call them up and ask them, say, hey, Larry, Jerome, Alyssa, Dustin, whoever your mapping person is, can you, I have about, I don't know, X amount of dollars here. Can you find out for me if I can dump those dollars into my policy and remain mech free? And then they'll go and do the investigation work for you. All right. What happens to the cash value / policy if someone takes out money and doesn't pay themselves back? So I keep this super simple for y'all. The policy, think about it as nothing more than just another savings account. What I like to call your glorified savings account. You hear me say that all day long till I'm blue in the face. So your policy is nothing different than your glorified savings account or savings account down at the local bank. So when you take $500 out of that savings account and then you put back $500, what happens? The $500 shows up in your savings account as cash that's available. Same thing with your policy. If you take money out from the policy and you put those dollars back as a quote unquote loan repayment, and then it just shows up as cash that's available in your policy that you can take right back out if you want to. So now, if you do not pay yourselves back, all that is that you're just not replenishing the capital. You're just not restoring the cash in there. And so now you have some room to filter in maybe some windfalls that you have coming in. Now, however, I will say always, always, always pay your loan interest annually and pay it out of pocket. You don't got to pay the principal on your policy loans. It's not required nor mandatory, but always pay that interest at least on your policy loans. And you'll know what your loan interest is. You'll get an invoice in from the insurance company, a quote unquote payment notice due where your next year's anniversary date is coming up due and your premiums coming due, and you'll see a section on there that says interest owed. What I do, I send off my premium for the year, and then I also send them the interest that I'm owed or due on for that policy loan that I took out for the year. And then what do? I keep using the money. Personally, if I'm using this capital to go out and create more monies for me, I won't go pay back my policy loans right away. I'll keep that money out there working in a 12% investment that I got going on. And then when that income comes into me from that investment, maybe I'll take a portion of those returns and pay myself back into the policy. It's just a big cash flow game, right? So really, if you don't pay back your policy loans, it's just money that's not inside of the policy anymore. But you're still making those premium deposits into your policy. You're still continuing to capitalize on your policy in that way. So, all right, Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Money Multiplier podcast, and ask yourselves, do my dollars make sense? Go in, rate the podcast. Let me know how you really feel about these episodes. Send me an email. If you got questions for me, I'm here to help support you. I'm second generation to this stuff, y'all. I didn't have to go in and unlearn all the BS that y'all learned growing up. So come in and ask me, challenge me. I love challenging questions. So subscribe, rate, go to YouTube, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, The Money Multiplier. You can even go out on those social media platforms and follow my personal Instagram, TikTok, etc. Hannah Kessler. Hannah spelled the same ways forwards and backwards. Kessler spelled with one S. And until next time, I'll see y'all.